Okay, so we've got Fierce Battle to talk about. I was able to 15 star it, which big shocker, right? I'm a spender, but I do want to kind of go over the main things that really helped with 15 starring and go through the full run. Now, the main way people cleared early is using less units. So for example, these are the teams I used, which we're going to go into how exactly I function with them. But to be honest, right, the only thing you really need, though, one thing you need dead ass is level 90. I don't know if other people saw this, but I've been talking with some people from the community, and it seems like there's an intrinsic value or like damage reduction that you get when you hit level 90. Because I have runs previously where, for example, the second boss, this boy right here, would do an AoE against everyone, right? He has an AoE attack and it's annoying, and I don't know why they're not showing the like graphic of them. But essentially, like, he would do an AoE, and you know, the people who were under leveled, like my Minase at the time and Kikoru, would be getting one tapped, right? Same thing for the one on top with Mina, and then even Isao at the time, right? I had Kaiju and Narumi, but then afterwards I'm like, wait, let me try getting everyone to 90, and guess what, right? Guess what? Isao was literally taking 100, 200 damage when before he was taking 1500. And I do not think there was big enough of a defense increase for that to happen. So either the defense, like, there's like a cap where like makes you take a lot less damage, or there's like a damage reduction for being the same level. It's very possible. Not saying that it can't happen, and it's honestly very likely. I mean, I've heard of things in other games like that. So overall, the main thing to really focus on is levels. And I'm going to make a like kind of stamina guide in the next video. One of the next ones, since we have a lot of content coming out, including Saga and Shinomiya. But yeah, so for the main thing, just wanted to say those on the top are the main units I used. And I mean, for the DPS, I mean, Reno could easily be switched out for like Hoshina, right? And also, if you don't have, for example, Isao or Kaiju and you want to get more break-in, you could also use Hasegawa because of the fact he also does, it's called blunt damage, right? So you could also do something like that. So honestly, there's some pretty free-to-play options. I will definitely say for damage increases, Hoshina and Mina are the best, but Rio comes at a close second. So also keep that in mind, that's kind of how it would go. Now, like I said, you could also do this without a full team, which maybe I'll try doing it with only 2 units next time. But overall, I would definitely say that the units I used are pretty much the top 8 units you want to use, besides maybe Kikoru. That's like the only one that is heavily replaceable by, I don't know, literally anyone. But yeah, overall, I definitely say these are the best teams. So I'm just going to go over very quickly what exactly we have on them, so you guys could kind of figure that out. But yeah, this is what we got right now. It's really not anything crazy, right? Besides their levels, that's the main thing. Only their levels. So on the first side, you could play with RNG. Because it's single target, you could definitely play with RNG. But on the second side, you can't, right? Because it's an AoE. So we're going to go into the run, and then I'll do some more kind of post-run explanations. Okay, so here we go. Part 1, you want to do blunt and the normal type. I don't know the names, man, I'm not gonna lie. But essentially the best units, and we're gonna make myself very small for this, I apologize. Don't want to cover Kaiju up, but essentially the main thing is you just want to do blunt damage, and Narumi works very well on this first part for me. This is the team that worked for me. Narumi is specifically there mainly also just to really do the break, right? Especially because there's 2 on the side, it helps quite tremendously. The second time that Kaiju, or the second time like you get to fight Kaiju number 10 after the break, well, you could ult with Narumi, ult with Isao, ult with Kaiju, and then he's almost broken again. So it works pretty well together. My Isao is under geared, so it's like it's personally I don't really mind. Now Kaiju does decent-ish damage. You know, it's nothing crazy, especially when you compare it to Reno. But it's like, it's good enough, and it's going to get better, so keep that in mind. And, you know, Isao's shields are pretty good, right? I mean, it's not bad considering his gear. An extra 200 is not bad. And after he ults, remember, he gives a damage reduction, so it's like, it works pretty well. It does work pretty well. And yeah, so very simple. You just single target there, because there's not really a point in doing that skill 2 yet. Now doing that with Kaiju, of course, remember his skill 2 does give himself extra crit rate, which I miss most of the crits on the ult with Kaiju, which is kind of annoying as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. And now, you know, I do decide to break the ones on the side, which, you know, does make sense. It's mainly for the damage. You only need to kill the main enemy, so don't try killing the minions. You only need to kill the main enemy, and the side minions aren't really doing too much anyway, at least when you get to level 90. So it's like, you know, this is also a permanent event, so you don't need to try and rush to finish Fierce Battle. There is no problem in just, like, you know, waiting. That's basically it. So I just want to make sure the buff was 2 turns again, and because it's 1, I'm gonna skill 2. I should at least skill 2 and then afterwards buff with Mina again. The main reason is because remember that skill 2 gives the crit rate, so you want to make sure that's all good. But here we're going to do the blunt, so we're going to try and go for that break again, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work. I'm pretty sure because we have Narumi and all that kind of synced up. So ulting there does make sense. I did still have the crit rate, so ulting before using the skill 2 is fine, but of course I don't get the crit rate, like it doesn't proc, right? Or I mean, like I don't get a crit, so kind of unfortunate there, is what it is. But we still do good damage, right? He's at 5 bars. Now keep in mind this boy can heal, but we should be fine because Narumi is there, so you know we could break right now with Mina. Kaiju number 10 might get a hit in if we get a bit unlucky, but it really doesn't matter, to be honest. Like, it really doesn't. So we do that, and we get a bit unlucky. Like, look at that ult gauge, how low it is. Or how close it is, I should say. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. So Narumi puts it at 1, which is good. We're looking good so far. So he has 1 left, and unfortunately, if we had gotten the ult with Mina, he wouldn't have even gotten that off, right? And you see how little damage we take. Like, I was not taking that type of damage before. It was very, and I could have also procced that Mina ult before Kaiju number 10 attacked, but as you see, I'm really just not taking much damage, right? Before I would be taking away full health bars, and now it's like not even a third per attack. So, you know, once again, I am stressing that level 90 is what you need to really let your units tank it. So even if you focus on like 5 units might be enough, right? Because technically I don't really need Isao, right? So it's like you could like get rid of Isao right there, and then you'd be fine. You could just have like literally no one there running 3 units. But as you get in, like, it's very easy if you have a full team, for sure. I mean, we're seeing the proof of that right now, because like no one is really close to dying, and we're in the section that like we're going to be doing some pretty ridiculous damage moving forward. So yeah, it's kind of chill. So, you know, Mina having a turn 3 or 3-turn morale buff is quite crazy, because there's still 3 turns left, so she's free to just skill 1 even if she doesn't really need to, right? So it is pretty nice. And you know, this way we could also put it on Narumi to start doing more damage, so you know, we really don't mind that at all. And anyway, the person after and good 10k, the person after Narumi is Mina, so you get some SP back there, so it is pretty nice. Let's see what I do here. So, you know, Isao like is very much there for support, so keep that in mind. He doesn't really have too much to do all the time, so there is that. And Mina doesn't have anything to do right now, so SP-wise you're able to bring some back, which is good. So if we check here, I don't have the crit rate buff, so it's better to use the skill 2 first to then get the crit rate buff, and then ult with Kaiju number 8, and then afterwards we're looking kind of in a very good spot, because we get that 60% crit damage, so you want to make sure you crit, which I think we do here. No, we don't. Wow. So look at that, 20k without critting. He is doing a lot of damage now, so it's very nice. Unfortunate we didn't crit, because we might have been close to killing there, but we're in a position to be able to break him right away, I think, because we get to do that with Narumi, and then we get his ult, so we break the other 2, right? So the gray ones are gone, and then afterwards we have Kaiju and Isao back to back, so we're able to break once again right away. So having double blunt into Narumi is such a good combination, and one of the main reasons that even if Narumi's damage isn't up to par, because you could spam that ult and do pretty decent damage at the same time, it does work very, very well altogether, right? He's amazing for break, and break is quite important in this game, so we should just kill with this, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we're close, and then the follow-up should kill. So there we go, and that's phase 1 done without anyone dying. Oh, well, I lied, my bad. Anyway, that's going to be phase 1 done with Narumi's attack without anyone dying, and you know, was a bit scuffed, but because of level 90, Fierce Battle now is not really that difficult. Obviously, it's still challenging, like you have to think about it, but it's not difficult to the point it was when I was getting one-tapped when my units weren't level 90, so there is that. And now we got the second portion. So this one was a bit more difficult, especially without level 90 units. The first one I could do. The first one I could finish, but the second phase was more difficult. So here we are, looking sick as hell, not gonna lie. We got Kaiju number 10 in his giant form. And he is so sick. So we just used that one Reno. Unfortunately, we did not get the SP back, but still, we do good damage. Good 7k. Already got rid of half a health bar. So we're looking decent, right? We're looking decent, so it's good. We're gonna, by the time I think the next time Kikoru attacks, he should be broken, right? That's pretty much the range of it. So yeah, and Minase, sorry, is at 3000 HP. So in terms of healing, she's looking a lot better off, and in terms of tanking. So there you go. And now this should do a good amount more. Yeah, that was a bit more, but not as much as I would have thought, but it's fine. So we're able to break with Kikoru now, and then afterwards we're looking good. Probably, yeah, no, that's fine to use, because you also have to keep in mind there's Minase afterwards. And what's great is that you don't always have to heal with Minase, but I'm pretty sure here we decide to heal with Minase. Since Kikoru is only at 847 HP, she is definitely a bit low, that is for sure. So here we go. And now we get to use Reno's skill 2. And then afterwards, we're going to buff with Hoshina, because we want to be able to get the full buffs for that ult. So now the buffs have worn off. So as you can see, they're gone. So now you're going to want to use that skill 2 with Hoshina, then ult with Reno, and then Reno could break the enemies. So that's how it's going to be. The enemies on the left and right, since he is goated and has an adjacent attack. So that's the main reason. Reno, I mean, he is just that good, right? That adjacent attack on the ult still does a lot of damage, even considering his skill 3 is basically mini ults every single time. So good damage. Freezes, we got lucky there. 25,000, do you see that? Oof. And then afterwards, we're able to go almost for the kill, right? So we're looking pretty good. We get that Hoshina ult in to get some extra crit damage, even if we don't need it. We get the speed also, which is pretty strong. So, you know, Hoshina's looking quite good here, not gonna lie, doing amazing buffs for this team. And then we get speed, crit damage, attack, blah, 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 right? All that good stuff. And now we do the Kikoru ult just to make sure that we put the defense minus, which I think we did proc there, actually. So good shit there from Kikoru, right? We could see the defense minus icon on him. And then afterwards, this should be close to death almost, right? Look at that damage. Literally insane. 35,000 damage on this team. So very, very nice. And then we kill. So yeah, that's it. The second phase with Reno was very simple. First phase was more stalling with Kaiju, but yeah, essentially the main units, like the main DPS are gonna be Reno and Kaiju, just kind of a no-brainer there. These two do end up working the best. Now, as for supports, of course, like basically have Reno, Kaiju, Hoshina, and Mina, and then afterwards fill in your slots, and you should be fine. Get those 4 to level 90 in my opinion. Now overall the DPS should be the ones first to level 90. Supports to level 90 is more for that second phase, because if they're not level 90 on that second phase, that AoE could be a killer, right? So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. But besides that, go at your own pace. You don't need to clear it right away in my opinion. You're going to be fine if you wait a bit, because this is, as it says right here, a permanent stage. So you could clear this at any time. There's no need to rush. Just know by like the 16th is when we're going to get the limited time fierce battle, and you're probably going to have 2 weeks to complete it. So you still have about over 3 weeks until you have like kind of a deadline of any sorts. So, you know, you go at your own pace. You don't need to rush levels. You don't need to feel a rush, because these are permanent levels. And yeah, clearing as soon as you can is great, but you know, just keep challenging it until you then clear it. I think that's perfectly fine. And yeah, overall it was pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. And keep in mind, we have a fierce battle limited time on the 16th, and then at the end of the month we have another raid. So content wise, we're looking good. We got probably Sagan Shinomiya tomorrow, so we're gonna have to see if I'm fine with that decision or not. But until then, that's gonna be it. Like and subscribe for more Kaiju content, for more other gacha game content. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.